Frustrated Rockstars, I think. Yep, that's Jeff, so I must be Justin. Thanks for joining us again for another podcast. Actually, this is going to be a little different than the usual podcast.
Oh, it's what we call special one.
Yeah, it's a special one, which means we get paid double what we usually get paid.
We get 2 cents for every 5,000 views. We're not in it for the money.
I know we're no David Cook.
Oh, let's not even get into that.
That's like 20 million people.
What the special thing is an interview we did a couple years ago with Duncan Sheik.
Duncan Sheik.
Now, do you remember, he had a big pop hit in 1998, I think, Barely Breathing.
Yeah,
I know what you're doing.
I'm familiar.
I've seen it all too clear. The big pop, one of those like pop adult contemporary.
Wow, sounds like a hit.
Was huge.
Wow.
Anyway, but he's the kind of guy that that really wasn't him. He was more of a kind of a singer-songwriter, New York coffee bar kind of guy. But he had this huge hit, major label, and of course, that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
huge hit.
Huge hit. Hey, more than we have.
Yeah, well, that's why we're frustrated.
Yes. Anyway, so we interviewed him a couple years ago. This is in early 2006. And he was preparing for this musical that he wrote the music for called Spring Awakening. And it turns out it went to Broadway and won a Tony.
Hey, Tony's good.
Without further ado, Tony winner, Duncan Sheik.
Hey, concert fans, I'm here with Mr. Duncan Sheik, our headliner tonight. How's it going?
It's going good.
All right, excellent. Now, the tour kicked off just a few nights ago in North Carolina. How's it been so far?
Well, this is the 4th show, so we're kind of just now getting our act together.
Yeah, working out the kinks.
Working out the kinks,
well, I heard
definitely.
some of the sound check. Sounded great. So
good.
It should be a good show tonight.
Okay, well, fooled them again.
So when you do shows like this back to back to back, do you have to split right after the show, or do you stay over and then come to the next town? How does that work?
We stayed in Birmingham, Alabama last night, but usually we'll just get on the bus and crawl in the bunk and wake up in the next village.
So you don't get to have the big after party and do all the stuff in the town.
Well, no, I mean we find ways of making the most of it, and a lot of times we won't leave until 2 or 3 in the morning.
Right.
So, you can imagine the rest.
Now the new CD comes out on January 24th. White Limousine. Are you excited about this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm very, very excited.
Now, what kind of sound does it have? I mean, I know a lot of your records kind of have a cohesive, lots of orchestration, kind of the same sound. What anything new or?
It is kind of a similar sonic palette to the other records, but I think when I made this record, I wasn't signed to any label, so I had less of that kind of subconscious worry about the record being commercial in some way, or having songs that were going to make it on the radio or something. So that was, of course, very liberating, and I had my own kind of set of aesthetic criteria that I wanted this record to kind of evoke, and I was more strict with myself about making making the music for the right reasons, and really what that is to kind of serve some artistic need,
Cool. So you really got to make the record you wanted to make, no other influences, really.
Yes, and then really the main difference with this record, versus my previous ones, is that there's a DVD that comes along with the CD.
Yeah, I've read about this. It's great.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Yes.
You get to mix your own versions.
Right, exactly. So there's the stems. All the individual instruments are kind of broken out. And so you put the DVD in your laptop and you click on the icon of any given song, and then you can listen to the, stereo drums and bass and guitar and keyboards and strings and vocals and mute and solo any of those things and deconstruct it, kind of, break it apart and put it back together again, hopefully in some cool way. And I'm hoping that I'll get a lot of great remixes back from, these laptop geniuses that are out there.
Well, that's really cool. I mean, I used to get a kick out of listening to old records and panning to the left and kind of hearing it and then panning to the right and hearing it. So you get the really
well, definitely. I mean, there was a time when people really used the stereo field in a great way, and recently, Amy Mann's record is like that, where she'll have the drums all on one side and the vocals all the way on the other, and it's actually a really cool record because of that. People don't seem to do that very much anymore, but In the case of White Limousine, you can put it wherever you want.
Yeah, and it's actually called Mine and Yours.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Your version, and you're basically giving us your music to
Yes.
kind of do what we want with it.
That's right. It's yours to improve.
Oh, I don't think that. Wow. Well, being this is a concert show, I want to go back a few years. What was your first like major tour, would you say?
Yeah, when my first record came out, actually before, like the month before it came out, I did like a month of shows with Jewel, and actually when we came to Atlanta, I think it's the first time I played here. We played at the Cotton Club, the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like kind of simultaneously really fun and really daunting and terrifying, because I was not really an experienced performer at that time, and I was one of those people who was much happier in the studio making music by myself. And I just thought I could be in the studio by myself, and then people would like magically go out and buy my records. But then I realized I had to go, promote these things. So so now, here we are 10 years later, and it's been like a whole process of of getting to this place. But it did take me really, in a way, it took me 5 years to get to a place where I enjoyed playing live more often than not.
And not having to cater to the audience, or I'm sure that on that when the record came out and the Barely Breathing was all over the place, you kind of got, I guess, pressured to.
Well, yes, there's that side of it, and the fact that maybe to some degree I was marketed as a kind of a real pop artist,
Right.
and that's not where I was coming from, and that's not really the music I listened to as a kid or growing up, and it's not what I felt like my record really was. It was just that there was a song on the radio, and that kind of thrust me in the middle of that universe. And so there was always a little bit of a disconnect there for me, and probably for the audience who came to see what I was doing, because I wasn't playing a set full.
8 Barely Breathings.
No, not at all. So
well, it's fortunate it afforded you to get to where you can make the music you want, and you seem to be able to do what you like to do, and really kind of connecting with people now.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's just my particular journey, and that's how it kind of worked out, and that's fine. But it is kind of nice to not have that expectation placed on me anymore.
That's great.
Yeah.
A couple of final concert questions. What was the last show you went to as a fan? Who was the last band or artist you went to go see?
Oh, I saw an amazing show, actually. There's a band called Dead Can Dance. Recently, they did this tour with probably like I think it was like a 35-piece orchestra, and there's about 20 people in the band itself. It was a huge production. They did the show at Radio City, and there were like 5,000 just totally rabid fans in Radio City, coming to see this fully blown out version of Dead Can Dance, and I have to say it was really impressive.
Wow, Radio City Music Hall, great venue.
Yeah.
And finally, what would you say would be the best concert in your life from childhood till now? Who did you go see and just really like that's a good show? There
were a couple. The best one, the ones that stick out for me are Radiohead on the OK Computer tour. I saw them like for an MTV concert somewhere in New York. I forget where it was. And then a band called the Blue Nile, who I saw at the Bottom Line in New York when I was 19. That was amazing. And the third one would be David Sylvian, his Secrets of the Beehive tour at Berklee College of Music in Boston. That was really great. So those are my top 3.
Wow, great. Yeah. All right, great. Well, thank you for talking to us.
My pleasure.
Again, the album comes out January 24th, White Limousine. Have a great show tonight, and thank you.
Duncan Sheik won a Grammy.
Well, looks like I just won a Grammy. Won something.